Excuse me. Welcome to Ron's Opinion Don't Matter. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully y'all looked at the title and, you know, hopefully y'all having a blessed day. Hopefully y'all having a wonderful day. Um, I titled this video preparing for possible terror attacks because um, at the end of the day, possibilities are in our face now. Before, we were just doing a lot of talking about this from a political perspective. We heard Trump talk about protecting the border, closing the border off. We've seen that millions and millions of people have come across that border. Um, and they got bad intentions. A lot of them. I'm not worried. I know it's not all, but they got bad intentions. And we need to really, 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 really be more in tune with what's going on just in our surroundings in general. And I say that to say because a lot of times we're going on with our life and we just kind of out and about doing whatever we want to do. But we got a lot of people over here that's already in America that wants to cause harm in America. And listen, don't get me wrong, they're going to recruit Americans to do it. And everybody that does this stuff don't actually have to be somebody from another country. All they have to do is have enough resources and enough brain cells to convince somebody else to do their bidding. They don't actually have to be the ones they don't have to always look like terrorists. What's up, Chris Farrell? How you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Hopefully you're having a blessed day. Yeah, they don't have to always be the type of people that look like terrorists. We've seen what happened in New Orleans. We've seen what happened outside of the Trump Towers. And, there's a whole lot of speculation of what's going on. There's still a whole lot of information. They still investigating. They're still trying to figure out, is there more people involved? Is there this? Is there that? And my thing is this. I hate to say it this way, but I don't trust the news media. And I don't trust the FBI. And I don't trust the government. I don't trust none of them to do the right thing. It's real talk. I don't trust them to tell us the truth. And I hate to be the one to say that, but I just don't. I don't trust the FBI. I don't trust the government. And I don't trust the news outlets to tell us a real story or do the right thing. I just don't trust them. So for me, I tell people, and this is one of those moments where you better take full advantage of your right to keep and bear arms. And regardless of where you live and where state you are, go get you something to make sure you and your family are good. Prepare yourself. Go get your firearm. Make sure you're good. Make sure you're efficient with it. Make sure you know how to use it. Because we're in a time that there's a good possibility that it might happen right at your door. You're right. Fake news. You're right, Chris Rose. Fake news. They're not going to give you all the information. And now, don't get me wrong. We've already gotten conflicting stories of this, that. There is some connecting points between the two incidents where they talk about these guys were in the same military. So same, military base anyway. But again, prepare yourself. Really, really, really prepare yourself. Get your firearm. Make sure you got ammunition. Make sure you know how to use that firearm. If you have to get to the point of even have what they would call a bug out bag, just in case. I'm telling y'all that we're in that time right now where a lot of what's been said and what's been done in this country is probably going to hit the forefront. And we're going to have to fight an internal battle in America because the enemy is on our ground. And your government in the last 4 years has been inviting them over here for whatever reason they've been doing, which, well, we know the reason. They want to destroy the country, but the enemy is on our ground. And we don't know where they're going to strike. We don't know how they're going to strike. My best guess is that they're going to pick their moments just like these type of two situations. And they trying to, they saying maybe, maybe not. It's terrorist attacks. That's where I'm going with. I don't know for sure. But one of them starting to really look more play out to be more of a terrorist attack. The other one I'm not too so certain about yet so far. But again, how much do you value your life and your family's life? What's up, Mike, in the building? How you doing? How you doing? Good morning. Hope all is well with you. How much do you value your life and your family's life? How much do you value the protection of your family? You really need to pay this attention now because these sleeper cells are out here. And they're going to try everything they can do to cause as much destruction as possible. They're not going to hit at one time. I don't see them hitting all at one time. There might be a moment where they try that, but I think this is what we're going to be dealing with is these moments, these small moments where they feel like they could just make it happen one by one and continuously try to cause as much damage without drawing so much attention to them as a whole. You know what I'm saying? I know they are. You're absolutely right, Chris, for real. The Biden and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are still bringing illegals in this country right now as we speak. They do not care. They doubling down on the stupidity of, which to them is not stupid. They know exactly why they're doing it. But when you look at it from our perspective, it's like, why would y'all do that if y'all cared about your people in your country and you cared about the American citizens? Why would y'all continuously do that? It's not about us. You gotta remember that. They don't care about us. What they care about is their ability to take that money and move it and swing it back so they can continuously rob the American citizens' tax dollars and keep lining their pockets with money. That's what it's all about for the most part. The other part is they don't like America. The Democratic Party do not like this country. They tell you they do, but everything in their behavior and everything in it, all the moves that they make and the stuff that they're doing is to the destruction of America. You can't tell me anywise because I see it. I watch it and I see it. And I say, you really have to have a deep hatred for the country that you live in to allow this to continue on and still just double down on it. Joe Biden and them is talking about, oh, they tried to bring down gas prices, right? But nowhere, they're not bringing it down. You know what they did? They did it just enough to try to win an election. Once they realized they didn't win an election, what did the gas prices start doing? They started going back up again. Why? Because now they're trying to screw American citizens over because they're mad because American citizens voted for Trump. They want Trump to fail because it's about them. How do you want the leadership to fail in the country that you're still going to be living in? Unless you plan on leaving too. Which, honestly speaking, as I think about it, why most of these people that from Hollywood, all the ones that said they was leaving the country, why they not gone yet? Some of them, a couple of them left, but all y'all need to leave. Bye. For real. But again, back to what I was saying about terrorists. You need to prepare yourself. Because I'm telling y'all right now, it's going to be more of this. It's going to be more of these type of situations, and you need to be prepared for. Yeah, they are. They're still trying to send more money to Ukraine. Why? Because Ukraine borders matter more than America's borders. And I'm telling y'all, and we really need to prepare yourself. So if you don't have a firearm, I plead with you to go get you something. Go get training. Go learn how to use it. Learn how to be efficient with it. Because it's going to happen. And I mean, you got to think about this. America already has its own criminal element that do not obey laws. That's why I tell people, when you hear these politicians talk about gun control and gun laws and stuff like that, that means that they don't give a darn about you. All they care about is the fact that they have safety. But they don't want you to be safe. They want them to be safe. That's why they want to ban this and ban that, so that you be under the thumb of all of the mess that they created. They don't care if you're safe. They don't care if you are right. And it's the Democratic Party, by far mostly, that wants this. That's why they fight and say, oh, we need gun control and we need this and we that. There is no sensible way of saying gun control. You need to stop trying to gun control, and what you need to do is stay out of the way because you're the government. That's not your space. The Second Amendment is clear. Shall not be infringed. But you guys keep trying to write laws and keep trying to find ways to infringe on people's right to keep and bear arms, but yet you open up the border to allow the very same people that you say you're trying to save lives. Why are you bringing other lives over here to kill the lives that are here? Why are you bringing other lives over here to put the lives that are in America in harm's way? Because you did not send them to you ain't sending them in the White House while y'all in there. You ain't sending them into the places where y'all at. Y'all sending them to the places where the everyday American citizen just trying to survive at. Now, they already barely making it on crumbs and a lot of them. Now you're going to put more people there to take the little bit of crumbs that they're getting right now. But yet you say you love America. You show me with this current administration, what did they do to show that they love America and American citizens? I keep waiting for people to tell me, but they can't. This administration right now has taken American tax dollars and given it to every country but American citizens. They haven't done nothing for America. They keep trying to act like they're doing, but they're not. There is no justification for spending billions of dollars with these foreigners for all of these stupid programs that does not make sense other than the fact that you're trying to keep stealing money. Meanwhile, American citizens are still paying high prices for food, high prices for fuel, high prices for electric, high prices for gas, and then y'all want to invite more terrorists into the country. And y'all not even checking these people. And y'all still not checking them. So that's why I'm telling American citizens, go get your stuff together. Stop playing this game of, oh, I'm all right. I'm telling you, you're not all right. Because now you are dealing with a lot more of evil in this country than we've ever had before. We got more people in this country that do not like America than we've ever had before. And if you think it's a joke, you're going to find out. We already starting to find out. This is the stuff we was warning people about. And people taking it lightly. And it's cool. If you choose that, that's fine. But I'm telling you that make sure you're good. Make sure you got proper firearms. Make sure you know how to use it. Get you a rifle, get you a shotgun, get you a pistol, revolvers, whatever you have to have, and make sure you got plenty of ammunition. But most of all, make sure you know how to use it. Make sure you're about as efficient as you possibly can be with it. Stop playing with this. It's not no joke. Stop playing with it. Make sure you got some level of survival stuff because we don't know how deep this is going to hit. And the fact that Trump won the presidency, they won't probably want this even more. That's why Joe Biden brought these people over here just in case. They want to make them voters, but the bigger picture is that they want to destroy America. And they know that American citizens ain't going to destroy themselves on that level. So we got to bring in other people to do the work for us. So that's why they got them here. And they're going to push the button of it's time to go to work on American citizens. And we want to bring more death and destruction because that Democratic Party is the party of death and destruction. Everywhere they go and every place they run is death and destruction. That's why they want to kill babies in the womb because they're about death and destruction. That's why they want criminals loose in the streets because they want death and destruction. That's why they want all these criminals from over all these countries to empty out their prisons and stuff and bring them over here because they want death and destruction. And if you look across America and every place that they run, by far, vast majority of them are death and destruction. They want the fentanyl to come over here. Why? Because they want death and destruction. That's why they don't care if the people, how is it that on their places the crime is the worst? Yes, I am with you 100 on that. I can't wait till Trump is actually in office so that we can get this thing rolling and start emptying get these people up out of here quickly. And here's the thing. I'm okay with the tax dollars being spent on that because that's protection of the country. I don't have a problem with them spending money with that. It is what it is. We're going to have to absorb the cost of getting them out of here. And I think we need to write a bill and put that thing permanently in place that you just can't let people come over in this country no other way other than them being scrutinized extremely before they come. because we need to make sure. And then the other thing is, we need to get back to teaching the children in our schools how to love their country and not keep teaching them to hate their country all the time. I don't get that part. You keep teaching these kids all this, this, and that, and these kids, how they going to learn to love the places they grew up in and live if you don't teach them how to love their country? Enough of that. Yes, America got some bad stuff, but there's a lot of good stuff too. So if all I focus on is the bad stuff, how am I going to be motivated to take advantage of the good stuff? Yes, I 100% agree with that. We need to put God back into the schools. We need to teach Bible, put God back into the schools. Because when we had that in the schools, we didn't have all this stuff happening in the schools. And when I went to school, yeah, they had some fights here and there, but I ain't heard nobody getting shot up in the school and killed murder. The worst thing we did on a regular basis in the school was chew gum. Yes, there's only 2 genders. I don't get that part. I don't get that part. I'm giggling, but really, honestly, it ain't funny. It is not funny. And these parents are being tricked into letting their kids go to this what do you call it? All it had these surgeries and stuff to try to change their gender. You can't do that. You go read all of the horrible backstories of people that tried to do it and what ended up happening. It became a nightmare. All of these surgeries, all of this stuff. Why is it so hard for people to tell people the truth? There's only 2 genders, and you can't change yours. Learn to appreciate and love who you are the way God made you. Don't let Satan trick you or use someone else to trick you that you are in the wrong body. God don't make mistakes. You are in the right body, and you are the right gender. And don't let these fools out here who's hungry to be like, what do you call it? Dr. Frankenstein, who wants to commit surgeries and stuff on people just to see if it's going to work. And they don't care who life they take in the process because they want to play like Dr. Frankenstein and operate and mess around with life. Play God, so to speak. At the destruction and the demise of someone else innocent who don't even realize what's about to happen to them until they already in it and there's no way to reverse course. Now your life is over with because you trusted somebody who said they was a doctor. And they showed you some doctor's degrees and stuff. Meanwhile, you did not realize that they were Satan using this person to destroy your life. And I guarantee you that person had plenty of time, and because they taught them so much and embedded so much in their brain, that person probably had chances to actually have a relationship with God. But somebody tricked them and told them that God don't love them and God don't this and God don't that. And this person fell for that. Satan set them up. And now their life is destroyed because of it. Because those are the attributes of Satan. What's up, word up? Those are the attributes of Satan. To rob, steal, kill, destroy. Those are his attributes. So if you see something like that happening and it destroys your life and cause your life to have total destruction, that was Satan. Because when God comes, he comes to give you life and life more abundantly. Yes, you're right, Mike in the building. Bring back common sense to America. Common sense to Washington. You trust, these scientists are sitting and say, oh, trust the science, trust the science. Well, you guys don't even know the difference between a man and a woman. So why would I trust you with any other thing? You're not making sense. Trust the science. If your scientists said that there's more than 2 genders, don't trust that science. Because they don't know what they're talking about. They're lying. See, I always tell people you got to be careful with science because there's a difference between facts and theory. See, they'll throw theory in there as a fancy word to say, to give people the idea that it's something that's factual. Theory is just another word of another way of saying opinion. That's all it is. It's my theory. Oh, that's just a fancy word to say it's my opinion. That's all it is. So the minute they tell you something scientifically or their scientific theory, all it is their opinion. Oh, they'll sew something fancy on top of that and say, oh, my professional opinion. Please. And we fall for this type of stuff because they put something fancy behind it. Because they put something fancy behind it. I've heard a lot of people say professional, and then when I got around, I realized that they wasn't a professional or nothing. They got all this education and don't know jack. They don't know nothing. Let me tell you how smart they think they are. Those people that run through, oh, I got a doctor's degree, I got a degree in this, and I got a degree in that. Okay. You went to school, right? You paid thousands and thousands of dollars. You got thousands of dollars of loans to go to school, right? You pay all this money to get this degree from this college, right? Then when you get out of school, you got to go pay all this money back. So then you got to go to work for a hospital. Let's say you're going to get a doctor's degree. And I'm not saying nothing wrong with it, but just say you're going to get a doctor's degree or whatever. Now you got to go work and get to pay back all the loans that you paid. Now, what you don't realize is the people that owns the colleges and the people that owns the hospital don't even have these degrees that they paid you to get, that they told you to get. Yeah, you're right. They wearing these masks because, all right, over there in California, just to give people, they trying to put people on this, oh, okay, we got another so-called virus out here, whatever case may be. I'm like, yeah, how convenient, right before the inauguration. Oh, now we have another virus, like as if viruses are a new thing. Viruses have always been here. They're never going to go away, and there's nothing you can do about it. Here's the logic in that, and then you take it for what you want. You cannot do anything to stop from getting sick. That is a part of life. There's nothing you can do to prevent from getting sick. You can try all you want to. And you ask anybody that tries all this stuff to try not to get sick, and then ask that person to tell that person to question themselves, how often am I getting sick? So why am I keep doing all these things to get something, but yet I keep getting sick? Because that's just a part of life. That's it. I'm not saying don't try it. What I'm trying to say is that it really is not going to do anything. And that's the truth. But they're not going to tell you that because they're going to make money off of that. They don't want you to know that there's nothing you can do about it. They're not going to tell you the facts of the science is that there's nothing you can do. You can wear all the masks you want. You can sanitize your whole house. You can do all of that social distancing you want. Guess what was happening when they said all of that? People were still getting sick, supposedly. Whether you agree with it or not, they still was getting sick. That's the facts. Because the key to being as healthy as possible is the basic stuff. That's number one, exercise. Don't cost you anything but some time and effort. Eating better. Making sure you're eating foods that helps boost your immune system. To help your body to either fight off it, or when it happens, your recovery time is usually faster. Why? Because you're eating foods that are healthy enough to help your body, strengthen your body to be able to fight off the sicknesses when they do come. Yeah, good luck with that one. They probably will. You're right, Mike, in the building. There's going to be a good majority of people that's going to fall for the get jabbed all up. They don't even tell you the truth about the jabs. oh, well, you know, this and that. I really wish people would go and find out exactly the truth about it, because every study have shown that none of those vaccines that they talk about work. But they don't tell you that part because that don't make money. They don't work. They do not work whatsoever. But because that's not going to make them money, they're not going to tell you that. It's not. They're not going to tell you that. It's just, oh, no, you know, it's going to help. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. That's why everybody that does it end up sick. Me personally, never had it. No flu shots, no vaccine, none of that. I mean, my parents probably had when I was a kid, but when it was up to me, no, I'm good. Nope, don't want it. You ain't give me none of that stuff. I don't trust it. Nope. I don't trust y'all. I don't trust pharmaceutical companies because I know what y'all about. I don't see no difference between a pharmaceutical company and a drug dealer on the street. I just don't see no difference. Why? Because I know humans are corrupt and they will do evil stuff. They don't care if it hurts somebody. I want you, if you go look up all of the people that have died from faulty drugs, bad drugs. I'm talking about the ones from the that's supposed to be technically legal or what they call FDA approved. They don't. They have common sense. What they call FDA approved, right? All right, so if it was FDA approved, and then when they find out, then they finally come public and they say, oh, this was bad for this and bad for that, and then you see all these lawsuits and stuff that's flying around. But these drugs was at one point FDA approved. So why should I trust something that says FDA approved when clearly the FDA has been making a ton of mistakes when it comes to approving stuff? Think about it. All these mistakes they have made. But yet y'all still trusting the fact that it says, oh, it's FDA approved. You see how stupid that sounds? But again, they're not going to pay that no attention. But it's you want to take, you do what you need to do that you feel or whatever you think is best for you. I'm just talking about me personally. I just don't bother. I'm not saying that I eat the best of foods, but I try the best as I can. And, I'm not saying I'm in the best of shape, but I ain't in the worst of shape. I do a little exercise. I try to eat a little bit of stuff better. But the biggest thing that I do to fight off any sicknesses is that I do not entertain depression. I do not entertain negativity. I do not entertain. Yes, they do. The FDA get paid off of this stuff. That's why they make sure it's approved. And then they get, the other thing that they do is they get the media also involved. See, the FDA proves it. The media promotes it. And the pharmaceutical companies make tons of money off of it. And then you get sick and die from it. And the cycle continues. Because where are the cures? Where are all the cures for diseases? You mean Pfizer been around for over 100 years and they ain't made no cures? Y'all ain't came up with a cure for nothing? Everything is dependency? No cures? Wow. Interesting. No cures. Look how long Pfizer has been around. And then y'all understand what I'm talking about. But anyway, like I said, prepare yourself. Terrorists are in this country, and they're in this country, in my opinion, by the thousands. Maybe even 1 million. Let me tell you something. That ain't no new story. I mean, yes, that it is something going on, but that ain't happening. This ain't the first time that cattle been dying from being sick so that they could drive up the cost of food and stuff like that. This ain't the first time. I've lived long enough to see these things, and I watch history repeat itself. So these stories like this have happened more than once. When you say about the cattle getting sick and stuff like that, let me tell you something. They need to stop putting all this stuff in this cattle. Stop shooting up all of this vaccines and stuff in these cattle. That's why they don't. If flu vaccine don't work for humans, what makes you think that these vaccines are working for these cattle? These cattle, nature don't need you to do all of that. Y'all the ones making the cattle sick. by trying to mandate that this cattle get all of this stuff. And next thing you know, the cattle can't even survive because they naturally know how to defend themselves because they can naturally do it by the nature itself, not you. You pumping all this stuff in these steroids and stuff in these cattle. That's why they having problems. But greed has no end. And you got to understand that greed has no end. That's why the Bible says, and the key point of this is that the Bible says that for the love of money is the root to all evil. Now, some people say, "Oh, money is the root of all." No, money isn't the root to all evil. It's the love of money that is the root to all evil. Money in itself is not evil because it answers all the issues that you may have in your life as it relates to paying bills and stuff like that. How is that evil? But when someone loves money so much that they're willing to do anything for it, that is the love of money that causes a person to do evil to another person because they love it so much. Thank you, Chris, for real. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk my talk. Man. But yeah. And that is the reason why people are so motivated to do what they do. Is because they love money that much. Now, I like having money. We all do. But I'm not going to, the key is that I'm not going to go out there and rob and steal and crook and murder people just so I can get money. Because at that point, you love money to that point where it's making you compromise your very own freedom or the life of your life in someone else's life. For something that is out there for everyone, all you have to do is honestly go get it. Do the right thing and you'll still get the money. You don't have to kill nobody or murder nobody. You just got to be willing to do the right thing. Find out what people need and provide that. And they'll pay you for it. It's that simple. You just got to be humble yourself and be willing to do it. But here's the thing. And I back to the subject at hand, because I really don't want to lose sight of this, because I really feel like this is important, is that we got a lot of terrorists in this country. And we need to be well prepared for what might come. And I think this is just a suggestion before I get off this live, is that for those that you love and that you care about, make sure y'all get together and make sure y'all have a plan of action if something is happening. Hopefully, nothing. But make sure y'all have a plan if something was to happen. Because, unfortunately, what we should have kept over in other countries, and we should have been protecting our border and closing our border and making sure everybody don't get over here, walk over here illegally, and do all the stuff that we watched and seen for the last 4 years and still going on. We have a problem here. And the best way to defend yourself is to make sure you're ready. Don't wait for the police. Don't wait for the government, because the police can't get there in time enough, and the government right now don't give 2 cents because they're the one who caused it. They're the one who invited it over here. So my thing is this, is that you are responsible for your own protection. They can not want them back in their country all they want to. Let me explain something to you, what these other countries don't seem to understand. Terrorism is a means of negotiation. Yes, they are. They are a means of negotiation. All countries use them, and it allows them to be able to negotiate favorable deals to make sure that we try to keep each other honest as possible. But here's the thing. You can say no all you want to. What is going to stop America from actually doing it? Because at the end of the day, you really can't say no. You might want to say no, but you really can't say no. Because there's another force, which is Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine. And then if need be, we have to force it upon you. We'll have to do that. My thing is this, is that you should have stopped it from your country just as much as we want to stop it in our country. Because I'm quite sure that You were dealing with the same thing in your country. Why would you be okay with that when it's tearing your people up? The people that are in your country are not benefiting from their country because you letting these people filter through your country and take the resources in your country. So how could you not care enough about your country to want to protect the citizens of your country? You're not making sense. But that's why we have borders. You stay over there and we'll stay over here. That's why we have houses. You live in your house and I live in mine. That's why we have separate spaces to make sure that whatever you're about, you do it over there. Whatever I'm about, I do it right here. But when you let somebody else, when someone else is forcing themselves into your property, because this is our country, then whatever you met with. You took the risk of coming in my home, then you're going to catch these that come. I did not invite you. I did not say it was okay. At that point, you are an invader. And you get what an invader gets. Some hot lead up in you. Because you should not have been in my house when I did not ask you and say it's okay for you to come. Our president, unfortunately, told these people that it's okay to come. So that's why they're doing it. And he did not put a stop to it. But here we are. January 20th is fast approaching. And when that president gets in office and he says, don't bring your behind over here, I'm by advice to anyone that intend to come and those that are here, you might want to get going before that comes. Because it's not going to be pretty for y'all. I'm telling you, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. So my advice to those that are here illegal, you might want to start getting out of here before they come to get you. Because they're going to find you and you're going to be up out of here. And that's real talk. And here's the thing, before I get off this live, to my Hispanic and Black communities. And I know this might be a hard one to swallow. Because this is not something that we particularly talk about a lot. But if it's ever been a time to start snitching, this is the time to start snitching. This is the time to start telling where they at and who they are. So we can get them up out of here and y'all can have the opportunity back that was really your birthright because you was born in America and they wasn't. And that's not your fault. And it's not their fault. So if you ever had a time to start snitching, this is the time to start snitching. So y'all can get your cities back and your counties back and your communities back and get them up out of here. So I know snitching isn't part of our culture to some extent, but I think we need to start snitching this time. And with that said, like I always say, if Jesus Christ isn't your Lord and Savior, you're going to need him. And with all the things that is going on right now, a relationship with Jesus Christ is the best thing you can ever do for yourself. And in introducing him to others, it's the next best thing you can do for yourself. So make sure that you have Jesus Christ in your heart. And with that said, I'm going to get up out of here. Y'all have a wonderful, blessed day. Peace!